Hi parents, I get a lot of questions about what exactly is classical physical education. And 10 years ago I probably could not have answered that very well myself, but let me explain a little bit about what that means. It's really a classical way of educating children that goes back to ancient Greece. In Greece they believed in physically educating children at a very early age, even in the toddler state, where they focused on balance and rhythm and classical gymnastics. It's a way of teaching cognitive development through the physical. And history is very, very clear on this, that we develop our brain through movement. We don't develop the brain properly and fully by just sitting in a chair and being talked at. It has to have movement attached to it. And you can go to different countries and look at different people and different cultures, and movement was key and essential to the development of that citizen or that person in the holistic sense. So in a nutshell, that's what classical PE is. In the modern sense, if you think about it this way, it teaches children how to move in a way where they have very, very good control, and it's very sophisticated in terms of developing their physical literacy. So if you think about the literacy of reading, you're teaching the ABCs of reading, so they can write a phrase and then a sentence and then a 5-paragraph essay and then a short story and maybe someday a novel. Movement is the same way. Laying down the ABCs of movement so they have a firm foundation upon which to build a good house of movement throughout their life is critically important. And again, history is very clear on this. So for example, when I work with TK or kindergartners, 5-year-olds, I'm teaching them how to use their feet properly, how to use their hands and fingers properly, how to get used to spatial awareness with their bodies. Very, very simple and basic things that oftentimes even children that are older in high school or even college haven't learned those fundamental basics that go back to classical PE models. So the best suggestion I have, or recommendation I have, if you want to learn more about this, and it's far better than I could ever do in a short video, is to go to this movie. It's The Motivation Factor. You can access this movie at motivationmovie.com. And it's a movie that I helped make with filmmaker Doug Orchard on what is classical physical education. And basically, I had some access to archives from the last great PE program in America that was from the early 1960s. It was at La Sierra High School in Carmichael, California. It was a great program. It was the program that President John F. Kennedy singled out as the program to follow for other American schools. He recommended that all American schools should have this type of PE program. And so we took that information and we started digging into it, and then we dug further back into World War II, World War I, back in the late 1800s, and we found just an amazing story of the value of classical PE, not just to get people physically fit, but to develop the best learners. So I would say, as the PE historian for the film and the executive producer, it's really more of an education film than just a PE film. So I hope you check it out. If you're interested in a classical approach, many parents are. I'm getting feedback from homeschooling parents and some charter school parents that have more interest in a classical education, where they believe in doing things the classical way, reading a whole classical novel instead of just bits and pieces of it. Classical PE is like that. It's reading the whole fundamental story without jumping ahead before you're ready. It's sequential, and it's very, very important, and it still works today by the people that teach it and the people that do it. So that's what classical PE is. On the bumper sticker version, I encourage you to check out the film, motivationmovie.com, and you can see the trailer for free and rent the film or buy it for just a few dollars. Thank you.